Lamar Jackson. Whoa, what a performance that he just put on display for the rest of the NFL yesterday against the Lions. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Lamar Jackson dominating the Lions defense as the Ravens won in convincing fashion. Lamar Jackson played an excellent game against the Lions as he has now led the Ravens to a 5-2 start, with the Ravens now in first place for the AFC North division. Talks of Lamar Jackson being in the MVP race are certainly coming up. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. Is Lamar Jackson your MVP pick right now? And honestly, that depends on the question. If we want to talk about as of right now, absolutely. Lamar Jackson is my MVP frontrunner. We're talking about after 7 games. However, if you want to talk about whether or not Lamar Jackson will finish the season as the MVP or not, that's a whole different conversation, because I don't believe that Lamar Jackson will finish the season as the MVP. That's not a knock on Lamar Jackson. I just don't believe that he'll be able to sustain this hot start. But as far as whether or not he's going to be the MVP frontrunner right now after 7 games, absolutely. You want to talk about what Lamar Jackson has done so far? He's led the Ravens to a 5-2 start. He's putting up career high percentages in the completion percentage department. He's getting the ball to his playmakers' hands. He's done a great job elevating their offensive line. He's done a great job getting the ball to playmakers' hands. When you think about the lack of weapons that Lamar Jackson has had, the best weapon that Lamar Jackson has right now is a tight end in Mark Andrews. Now, Mark Andrews, he's pretty good, don't get me wrong, but Mark Andrews ain't no superstar tight end. Mark Andrews ain't on the level of Travis Kelce. When you talk about Lamar Jackson and his ability to elevate the whole team around him, it cannot be stated enough. He can elevate the running game, he can elevate the passing game. Their defense has been pretty good, but when you look at the Ravens supporting cast compared to some of these other MVP candidates, you have to realize that what Lamar Jackson has been doing has been really special, because Lamar Jackson's best wide receiver right now is Odell Beckham Jr. By the way, guys, if you guys didn't know, Odell Beckham Jr. is effectively washed up at this point in stage of his career. Odell Beckham Jr. is no longer even a factor in these games. Odell Beckham used to be really good, but he's not good now. When you look at the Baltimore Ravens, you have to wonder why Lamar Jackson has been so good. And honestly, a big part of that credit should go to Tom Monken, their offensive coordinator. Their offensive coordinator has been a big upgrade over Greg Roman. Greg Roman was one of the worst offensive coordinators in all of football, but now they've gotten that problem resolved. Now you see Lamar Jackson being able to be more of a pocket guy. And some people wondered why Lamar Jackson couldn't pass from the pocket. Well, I kept trying to tell you guys that, hey, just because he can't pass from the pocket, that doesn't mean that he's not an elite quarterback, because he's a special talent. And for a guy that runs a lot, he actually is a good pocket passer. He can sometimes be accurate with a football in his hands. Lamar Jackson is an elite quarterback in the National Football League. When you want to talk about top quarterbacks in the NFL, Lamar Jackson's name does not get included nearly enough. We can talk about Patrick Mahomes, we can talk about Justin Herbert, we can talk about Joe Burrow, but Lamar Jackson belongs right in that conversation as well. Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. He might even be a better quarterback than Josh Allen, a guy that everybody seems to be loving in the mainstream media right now. And Lamar Jackson, he's done nothing but win games for them week in and week out. You look at the wins that the Ravens have had this year. They beat the Houston Texans, who seem to be a pretty good football team. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who are a good football team, even though the win-loss record might not indicate that. They did lose to the Colts, yes, but the Colts have been a pesky team. You know, the Colts have not necessarily been a pushover. They should have won yesterday's game against the Cleveland Browns had it not been for some bad calls at the end of that game. So that's just a tough game to lose. And then they beat the Cleveland Browns in blowout fashion. Obviously, we know that the Cleveland Browns defense has been elite this year, but for them to blow them out by 25 points, especially impressive. Yeah, Lamar Jackson had a bad game against Pittsburgh, but you know what? Pittsburgh is a pesky team as well. Pittsburgh is a team that can play really good defense, and that's a team that Lamar Jackson has historically struggled against. So I'll give him a pass. Then they beat the Titans in London. Okay, he did what he was supposed to, and then they blew out the Detroit Lions yesterday. And by the way, for the people that are trying to say, oh, he only blew out the Detroit Lions, that's a bunch of bull crap, because Lamar Jackson dominated them big time. And also the Detroit Lions were 5-1 heading into this game. The Detroit Lions were a good football team, and to see them get shellackled the way that they did, that convinced me that Lamar Jackson has been really good. He threw the football effectively. He negated the Lions pass rush. We've been hyping up Aiden Hutchinson all year long, but he was essentially a non-factor, and Lamar Jackson basically turned him irrelevant. I mean, you want to talk about beating up a good team in the NFC? That's exactly what the Baltimore Ravens did. And even though you could say that the Detroit Lions are frauds, you could also say that, hey, they can only play who's on the schedule. and the Baltimore Ravens have beaten quality football teams, and you got to give Lamar Jackson a lot of credit for that. He's improved as a pocket passer. He's still a dynamic runner. He's been accurate with the football, and now when you look at the Ravens schedule, you have to think they got a pretty good shot at winning this division. I don't think they're going to end up winning this division, but they got a shot because they play the Arizona Cardinals next. That's going to be a win. They play the Seahawks. You never know which version of Geno Smith is going to show up. Then they got the Browns. That could be an interesting game. Who knows what's going to happen with the Cleveland Browns? But I know they've been playing great defense, but they have a quarterback situation that has been murky at best. They got PJ Walker in that quarterback now because their $230 million quarterback Deshaun Watson keeps getting hurt all the time. Then they get the Bengals in a rematch. Then they get an underachieving Chargers team before they get to the bye week. So the Baltimore Ravens, if they can string some wins together, they'll be in good position right now because right now they're 5-2. And if they can get to 9-3 by the bye week, this is a team that we could be talking about as a team that wins the AFC North. I don't think that they will end up winning the AFC North. I still think that the Cincinnati Bengals, they're going to end up winning the division. They're too talented to keep losing games the way that they are. Joe Burrow, he's going to get it back together. There's a reason why Joe Burrow is a top-tier quarterback in the National Football League, even though he hasn't played like it this year. I mean, Lamar Jackson, he's obviously fantastic. I just don't know whether or not he's going to stay healthy or not. Remember, Lamar Jackson has missed each of the last 2 seasons due to a season-ending injury, and the way that Lamar Jackson plays, he gets himself in position to get hurt more than other quarterbacks because he's a dynamic runner. But that doesn't mean that Lamar Jackson isn't a great quarterback. When you want to talk about best quarterbacks in the NFL, Lamar Jackson has certainly been atop of the list this year. I mean, you can put him over Patrick Mahomes, you can put him over Tua Tagovailoa, you can put him over Brock Purdy, you can put him over all these guys. Lamar Jackson has been consistently the best quarterback in football. Has he been perfect this year? No, but he's done a good job doing what he's supposed to be doing. Lamar Jackson has clearly put in the work in terms of his accuracy. I mean, Lamar Jackson right now, he's completing 71% of his passes. He's already thrown for 8 touchdowns. He's only thrown for 3 interceptions. So Lamar Jackson, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And yeah, he's done a better job being a pocket guy and taking what the defense gives him. And you can tell he put in the work this offseason in order to be a better pocket passer. But even though he's a better pocket passer, he hasn't sacrificed that in his running whatsoever because Lamar Jackson has still been a dynamic runner. He's been a little bit of everything. You're starting to see peak Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson needed to evolve last offseason. Well, he's done exactly that. And now those teams that needed Lamar Jackson in the offseason, now they look very foolish right now because of the fact that they had a chance to get Lamar Jackson in free agency this offseason, and all they had to do was give up 2 first-round picks and give him a big contract, and none of these teams did. The Atlanta Falcons were foolish right now for passing up on Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson is one of the top-tier quarterbacks in the NFL, and to roll with unproven guys that weren't even first-round picks at the quarterback position, right now they don't look particularly smart for that. So that is why Lamar Jackson is my MVP pick as of right now, even though I do not believe that he will end up winning the MVP award this season. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin Tran and @Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.